Hey everyone, how's it going? Back again with another video here, and just want to talk a little bit about a question that I received not too long ago. And this person was asking, in this case, this person was trying to follow a paleo diet. They were asking for general tips for eating paleo long term. They said, in other words, the rest of their lives, which hopefully for them means another 40 plus years. And they were feeling a little overwhelmed with with that aspect of trying to wrap their head around eating paleo for what we hope is 40 or more years. They said that it makes them feel really good in such a short amount of time, and that they know they need to stick to it because it makes them feel better. But the fact to think about trying to eat that way for their entire lives was a little overwhelming. And so I thought this is a great question because I don't know that people actually think about how the way they are eating, how long they can stick to that. So it is great that this person was actually thinking that way, because I think that we often think very short term. I'm going to eat this way for the next 30 days or 60 days or 70 days or wherever the challenge is that you're participating in. But we often don't think about whether that way of eating is sustainable long term, right? It may get you results in the short term, but is it something that you can actually sustain for 40 plus years? And actually, my answer to this person was actually that they probably shouldn't think about whether they can eat or worry about whether they can eat this way for 40 plus years, because in all likelihood, their diet is going to have to and will likely change over the course of several years, right? As our lifestyle and our health evolves, our diet is going to need to shift to accommodate that stuff, right? So trying to figure out how you're going to eat the same way for 40 plus years is probably not even worth it, because in all likelihood, the way you're eating today is likely not going to be the way that you're going to be eating in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Today, I eat a higher carb diet, for example, a fair amount of calories, but that's because I'm exercising and trying to be an athlete every single day, right? In 10 years and in 20 years, am I going to be doing the same thing? I'm pretty sure I'm still going to be exercising, but am I going to be exercising to the degree that I am currently? Maybe not. And if I'm not, maybe I don't need to eat that way. It doesn't suit the lifestyle that I'm in, the phase of life that I'm in. So the way you eat today is likely not going to be how you're going to eat in a couple of years. But if you know right now the way a certain way of eating is making you feel really good, it's benefiting your health, it's helping you get closer to your goals, then stick to that and really just figure out how to navigate the short term, how you continue to eat that way for the short term. Because in reality, most people can't follow a diet for 30 days. 60 days. And that brings me to the next point is the diet you're following currently even sustainable for the next couple months? In many cases, the answer to that might be no. It helps you lose weight really quickly. It helps you get to whatever goal you might be after in the short term. But in the long term, most people who follow a diet, they can't sustain it for a few months, never mind a year straight. And that's why we get this on the bandwagon, on the bandwagon, off the bandwagon, on the bandwagon, off the bandwagon. Not bandwagon, I should say wagon, on the wagon, off the wagon, on the wagon, off the wagon kind of cycle that everyone goes through. I encourage you to actually, instead of worrying about, can I sustain this diet for 40 or more years? Can I sustain this diet for 4 months? Can I eat this way for 4 months? And if the answer to that really is no, then you have to switch course now and try and find out something that's better. So as another example, I was talking to someone and they were saying how they planned on doing 36-hour fasts once a week. And my first question to them was like, how long can you actually sustain doing those 36-hour fasts? In all likelihood, like there's going to come a time where a very important event that involves eating some kind of food is going to fall into that 36-hour fast, right? Like your kid's birthday might fall on a fasting day. What are you going to do? Are you going to skip your kid's birthday party and not eat there or not have any cake and not celebrate with them because you're in your fast, your 3-day fast, or 20, I guess, 1.5 day fasts? Personally, my answer to that is no, I would not do that. That's not sustainable to me. In the short term, you have a acute problem that you're trying to solve by doing those longer fasts, then great, fine. Like, it's probably worth it. But can you sustain that for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months? Most people are probably going to say no to that. They're going to not be able to do that. And that's, something you have to think about. The same can be said for following a vegan diet or following a keto diet or following a paleo diet or whatever, right? There are certain things that people try, but really just doesn't fit their lifestyle. It doesn't make them happy. It doesn't they miss out on certain things in their lives, right? Certain parts of their lives. They can't sustain it because they can't enjoy life, right? And they want to enjoy life, right? And, being healthy is about enjoying life. It's not just about eating a certain way. You have to balance the diet as well as your enjoyment of whether that diet allows you to enjoy your life. And if the diet doesn't allow you to enjoy your life and it's not sustainable, it's too restrictive, then you are going to constantly be going back and forth on the wagon, off the wagon. What I think my message here is, it's good to think about whether a diet is sustainable or not. It's probably not worthwhile thinking about whether a diet is sustainable for 40 or more years, because the way you're eating is going to evolve as your life changes, right? And it'd be great if our life remained the same constant for 40 plus years. But in all likelihood, that's probably not going to be the case, right? There's got to be things that come up. Your lifestyle is going to change. Your life is going to change. And that sometimes dictates whether you're going to be able to eat the same way or need to eat the same way that you're eating now. So instead of worrying about whether you can eat the same way for 40 plus years, think about how you can eat that way for 4 months, right? And then reevaluate things in 4 months. Is it working? Do you find it easy to do? Is it sustainable, right? If you feel good and you haven't had any issues eating that way for 4 months, stick with it and keep on sticking with it until it doesn't work. But as soon as you see signs that it's not working, or as soon as you see yourself really struggling to adhere to the way you're eating, then it's time to reevaluate that way of eating and say, what do I need to change here to so it seems more sustainable and not as restrictive and it doesn't take away from the enjoyment of life or what you value as enjoyment of life, right? Everyone has their own thresholds or ideas what makes life enjoyable, and use your metrics to evaluate that. Don't use someone else's metrics. And if it's not working for you, then you need to stop and make some changes, right? And don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to try a keto diet or try a paleo diet or try taking out dairy or eliminating grains or adding things into your diet. Maybe adding more carbs into your diet might be better for you, right? And maybe dialing back the fat, right? It's not popular. It's not sexy. It's not what everyone on Instagram is talking about, but it might be what you need. So don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to try things. Try eating at different times, eating different amounts at different times. Don't be afraid to experiment. And eventually you'll come across a way of eating that works for you in the short term. And like I said, stick with it for that period of time, but constantly be checking in with yourself as to whether that diet is continuing to work for you or not. And then evolve again, change again when it doesn't. So diet is not one set in stone thing that's going to work for you for the rest of your life. It's an ever evolving journey that you need to be constantly tweaking and adjusting based on your lifestyle, the way it makes you feel, and your goals. And if you need help finding that diet and help navigating that journey, I'm happy to help. I do have a couple of one-on-one spots open for coaching. So if you need help with that, happy to chat a little bit more about that. The best way to get in contact with me about that is go to my website at rjbhelp.coach. Click on schedule a discovery call button right on the homepage, fill out that form, and I can help you out there. I'll get in contact with you. We can have a short Zoom call and talk more about how I can assist you. Or you can just direct message me, reach out however you want, and we can chat a little bit more about coaching. With that, I hope everyone has a great week, and